Hello everyone, welcome to the guide for the new raid in the upcoming expansion. So we are going to be looking at the first boss, and I'm going to show you on Mythic and Heroic. For the first few bosses, I'm going to kind of tackle both in the same video because the bosses are really similar and I'll point out the differences, but you'll handle the mechanics basically the same way in both difficulties. And what I like to do in my guild is, for the early bosses, the heroic strat is probably going to be the mythic strat, so we get good muscle memory in that difficulty, so it's easier to replicate when the stakes are higher. But we can come here and we can look at some of the mechanics. So basically, the boss is going to do a few key things. He's going to throw stuff on the ground you have to dodge. He's going to grip you in. You're going to have to clear the stuff on the ground. And honestly, that's about all the important stuff for the first phase. In the intermission, he's going to spawn a bunch of ads. You kill them, you pick up they drop an item, you pick it up, you use an extra action button on the boss. The boss at 100 energy becomes active, and you repeat. That is the absolute shortest way I can phrase the fight. This spreadsheet you're looking at is 100% internal. I've never made this an external spreadsheet. These are just listed boss mechanics from the Dungeon Journal. You could make this yourself if you want. There's nothing special in here. But we like to do it to track abilities as they progress through the beta cycle. So if anything changes, we know what, we can see like what we had last. So we're gonna look at a video here. This is from Mythic Testing. This is not me. I will say that every time. I do not record myself anymore. But what we're gonna see here is we're gonna see a Mythic kill. And the first thing you're going to note is that we're going to less than pull. There's no reason not to, unless the intermission is really overtuned, which it wasn't on beta. And you are going to take the boss basically in the center of the room. Now, the first mechanic here is the stuff on the floor. So one of the mythic mechanics is if you get hit, you get cocooned. And when you get cocooned, you need to get broken out. On the last Mythic testing, it was bugged. So you can see here, people weren't in it, but they still got hit. So you can see, I'll come down. These guys were out of the animation, but they still got hit. So the animation looks smaller than the actual visual. So when you keep seeing people get hit in the video, it's just a visual clarity bug, basically. Animation. So you can see here that we're going to break them out, and then we're going to get these circles. These circles are used to clear these webs. Those are the webs that the boss threw out, right? So we want to clear as many as possible. This person here is not doing a very good job at clearing because you can see someone's already here. They should have definitely swung over here and taken out this. And this person, just completely missed everything. However, there's not too many webs on the ground right now, so it's not the end of the world, but looking for, minor optimizations could save immunities. And we're going to talk about immunities in a bit. So we're going to continue. And the next thing you'll notice is these markers. You actually turn this camera perfectly here. You only need one marker, but we made a line just to make it easier for testing purposes. And he's going to do 2 grip-ins per phase. So you can see the grip-in here, and we have movement speeds assigned to both grip-ins. I think the first one's roar, and we have half the raid go in. In a live setting on Mythic, there might be a reality where you don't put immobile classes and your immobile healers in there. Like maybe you don't want your Frost Death Knight to run out there, or you don't want your Disc Priest to go in there, or Holy whatever, and you have less people in there. But for this testing, we just said okay, half and half. So half the players go in, they get gripped. If you get pulled all the way in, you will die. It doesn't one shot in the testing. This is a very classic mechanic that they just ×5 on live, and if you get in there, you die. So you can see here we have a gateway. This is an emergency gateway. Gateway is pretty useful in intermission too, but not with the strat that we are doing this testing. But we have a gateway here like as a, oh crap, I need to live moment, and you can just smash your gateway button and get back. You can see people were teleporting back or just running the whole time. And you can see he got hit, and he went to like 5% health. I think that's going to kill you on live. So anyway, that's the grip-in mechanic, and then those mechanics are all going to repeat themselves before intermission. So you can see he's shooting out the webs again. One person got hit there again. That's like a clarity thing. You can see that there's a DK that stepped out and AMS some of this. That's really good if you're a DK player, just to keep melee clear. And you can see these webs here. These are much better because this whole chunk's going to get taken out, and this guy's taking out the melee one, and this one's taking out the other melee one. Now this Rep Paladin gets it. He's going to run to the back, and the second group's going to go in. We had a Roar for the first one. There's a Wind Rush on this one. Wind Rush is probably better because it stays on the ground here. You can see someone gated. Some people are using their mobility, etc. And then that's going to bring us into intermission. So that's P1. It's just a rinse of those, few mechanics. So when he goes into intermission, he's going to jump in the middle of the room like he just did here. He is going to burrow. Good. And now he's going to carve up the middle of the room. So you can see by these little balls, this is like where he's coming. So it's like really, really, really obvious if you know what to look for. But if you have a raider who hasn't done any research, they're gonna have no idea what's gonna be happening. So you can see these, and then you can also look for the portals on the side. And we have pings going where it's safe. And we're looking, and then okay, now the ads spawn. Now one thing I'll talk about the ads is the ads can spawn in one of three places. Now, where the ads spawn, the boss is going to come back on the opposite side of the room. So where the ads spawn is completely random. The boss will come back on the other side of the room. And what you're going to see here is we're going to move over. We're going to start grouping up these ads. You can see the tanks in there. We're moving out of this. Everyone's dodging. This might be a really good place to use like a roar or a movement speed on this when we're grouping up the ads. You can see here it's going in the middle. Everyone was paying attention. And these ads just need to die ASAP. You can see here that they're just absolutely destroying people. So the healing here can get pretty intense. And you can see that the boss is appearing at the exact opposite side of the ad spawn. You can even see the ads like void phase form or whatever you want to call it. And the boss is here. But what we do is we just grouped up all the ads and moved them right next to where the boss was going to spawn. Obviously, you can't be in the circle. So it's right next to it. On Mythic, there's going to be big ads, and the big ads, the tanks will drop up. We'll pick up their item here. So when they die, they drop this item, and you get an extra action button. Use the extra action button on the boss. Tanks look for the big one. Everyone else looks for the small ones. And you can see when the boss lands here, he drops additional stuff on the ground. And this is where the best place to use an immunity is probably right here. Because what's going to happen is people are going to pick it up and then they have to run through this minefield. But if we can do an immunity, let's see what happens here. If we can do an immunity and clean this up, you can see someone moving through here. That looks like a paladin. Then it makes this little corridor where people can pick it up and easily deposit. Every time you deposit, it gives it some energy. When it's at 100 energy, then the boss is phased normally. He's taking 99% reduced damage here, so it's not worth hitting him. But he's going to go up a little more, one more. Yep, 100 energy, and now he's phased. So what we're going to do is we're going to recenter the boss here, and we're just going to go back to our markers and do the work. Or, better yet, you just move away from the current webs, and then you can set new markers if you want. It just happened to be our markers were clear. So you can see new webs coming down. And then we're going to get circles, and then we're going to clear out the path that we are going to work with. He has a turtle here, so he's using his immunity because we know we're going to kill the boss in this phase. We're not going to have another intermission. We clear the space, and the boss is just going to go down here. It's going to be the same thing as the first phase. So you can see we go back. This is going to be a stampeding roar. Two groups go back. That's outranging most range, by the way, back there, but the Grippen's kind of powerful, which is why we go that far back, because I know someone's probably going to ask that question. It just makes it safe. But that's the whole boss. So again, big takeaways. Know what intermission looks like, how to deal with it. Use your green circles wisely when you clear. Make sure you set two groups to do the Grippen, and set movement speeds to them. And set your immunity when he spawns the stuff after he spawns the webs after he comes back from intermission, just to make it easier to dunk so people don't get trapped. Other than that, it's a really easy first boss. Oh, and then yeah, funnel all the ads next to where the boss is going to be because it's going to be opposite from the ads. That's something for the tanks. People like your raid will just follow where the ads are anyway. So if your tanks know what to do, then you'll be good with that. But that's the first boss. Hopefully this helped. All the guides are coming out soon, and best of luck.